Hello everyone and welcome back to the ranking series where I'll be ranking things for eternity. I'm your host Nate.1520 and I want to talk about the FNAF movie because I think a lot of critics are wrong. I think a lot of people who criticize the movie have very invalid points and I'm going to go over that. If you don't want spoilers, click off now. There's going to be spoilers. Click off if you don't want spoilers. Now, I've been a big FNAF fan ever since the game first originally dropped. I watched Markiplier play it through, I watched all the big YouTubers, Daco, Corey, 8-Bit Ryan, The Game and Salmon, just to name a few. It's how I found a lot of great YouTubers, and especially MatPat, which explained a lot of the lore, though I'm gonna be real, I'm not super caught up on the newest stuff, guys, so I'm sorry, I'm a little behind on my studying on the FNAF lore. But it's been a big part of my life ever since 2014. Oh my god, I'm an old fart. It's almost been 10 years. Oh dear lord, I'm growing gray hair. I'm gonna look like Queen Elizabeth. No. Morty. So as a person who just watched the movie and has been a big FNAF fan for a while, I thought I would share my opinion for people who want to watch the movie, as I think a lot of people undermine how good the movie is based on so many things. And I'm gonna go over everything and just kind of lighten the mood and say it's a good movie. It is. It's not perfection. No, it's far from perfection. But there's a lot of good things, and I'll give you a big rating at the end of this. So stick tuned, and again, spoilers. So let's dive into the most critical point that a lot of people say really ruined the movie for them, and that's one scene in particular. This is the fourth scene. You either hate it or you love it, and I want to change your mind if you hate it. A lot of people don't like it because it's a strong deviation away from this giant horror aspect and has this goofy montage. And I think this actually works for the film if you look past the goofiness. FNAF has always been a comedy horror type of setting. It's never been a perfect 100% horror, and you can see that with Exotic Butters. And even looking past the goofiness, I think a lot of people forget that these animatronics, even though they look big, scary, fluffy, blah blah blah, have dead kids' souls trapped inside of them who lost their childhood. They're just trying to regain what they never had, and even in these costumes, they're still innocent. They're still innocent kids trying to live out the childhood they never got. It really shows how much they really want companionship that even later on in the film, Abby says they're lonely. That even shows that they are kids and that the only reason why they're killer animatronics is because of William. And now that they're free, they just want to live their life. And for the fans growing up with the Five Nights at Freddy's character, this scene is beautiful. I would love to build a pillow fort with the FNAF animatronics. God damn, I would pay $100 just to hug Bonnie, my guy. You don't know how much I want this. Please! Also, the FNAF 2 animatronics are not possessed by kids. Please stop saying that. The second biggest criticism is the lore, the theories, the game theories. A lot of people criticize the movie for it not being a one-to-one copy of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, but there's a couple of reasons why I think that would have actually been a very bad idea. Firstly, it would just be pretty boring, to be honest, because it would just pretty much be the game, but now it's a movie. It wouldn't be that fun to watch, because we already know what's going to happen, we already know the story, there's nothing interesting, and there's nothing that can be given to us as fans. And I think Scott knew that, so that's why he made this number 2. It's in a different universe. It's not directly related to the games, and on top of all of that, it's also based on the books. A lot of people said that a lot of the lore is wrong, but you gotta realize that the book and the games are both put into this movie. And thirdly, Scott Cawthon worked on the movie. You know, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's and everything, the guy who made the lore, kind of worked on the lore of this one. So I think it's pretty fair to say that the lore is pretty well made. It just can't be a one-to-one replica, because then it would not be fun, and it would be pretty boring. And number 4, you also gotta realize that if they made it all based off the games, then it would just be for the fans. They're also trying to market towards audiences who haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's why I think it takes a bit more of a step back. And it's also trying to combine all of the games into one movie, because I'm pretty sure they're only going to make one movie. They didn't really tease much of a sequel, and though Michael always comes back, it's going to be very unlikely with Scott's departure from the series. So with everything set in stone, adding a one-to-one replica of the lore would be pretty bad, and it would not have made the movie as good as it was. Number 3. FNAF at Freddy's. People didn't like that there was a lack of the actual gameplay from FNAF 1 inside the movie, which I think is a pretty fair critique. What the f? Besides the first scene technically of the entire film, which I can't find but was supposed to have Markiplier in it, I'm very angry.
Gonna be a cab driver for the first time. It was also where I saw that good old Markiplier was supposed to be the security guard who gets killed at the very beginning of the.
And also the scene where the guys break in and the guy's kind of watching the security cameras, but he does shut the door on one of the animatronics. That's a reference. That's a JoJo reference. It doesn't use much of the gameplay, which a lot of people would recognize immediately, which I think is a fair criticism, though I don't think it really takes too much away from the movie as it lets the story develop. But now that I've gone over the main critiques, god damn it, let's get into the things that I personally like about the movie and what I hate about it. Transition music. First off, the casting for the movie was beautiful. The person who plays Mike does a wonderful job. Vanessa looks like, well, Vanessa. They casted the guy who voiced Shaggy Rogers as William Afton, and he did a goddamn amazing job at sounding like William Afton. Props to that man. That was beautiful. Like Zoink Scoob, I think I may be the man behind the slaughter. The kids were there and they did what they needed to do. The person casted for the aunt played it beautifully. She looked great for the role and played it perfectly. And the acting, yeah, on point acting, had no complaints with any of the acting. And we even got to hear Foxy's voice line. And then we got our cameos. We got Corey. People literally gave a round of applause when Corey came on screen. And then we got MatPat, but you know,
It's just a theory.
love to see him in it. Sad Markiplier could have made it because of Iron Lung, but oh yeah, the casting was beautiful. I personally like the way they took the story. It makes all kind of sense and everything connects together. Mike trying to let go of his past kind of goes in with the FNAF 2 lore of the children, you know, eventually putting their souls at peace and letting a goal that is unobtainable go to waste. They've already killed Afton. It's time to put everything beside them. Vanessa wants to be loyal to her father. Her father's a psychopathic murderer. Okay, all checks out. Also, Mike's little dream sequence, thank God I said it right finally, ties into a lot of aspects of the show. One, he doesn't want to lose his little sister Abby and puts a lot of things forward for it. But in the end is near tempted by fate when the people offer that he can now have a dream with his family forever. On top of that, it also gets him fired from his original job. I only have that small clip. I apologize very much. The story was good and I love the action scenes, but I don't think they're the smartest type of character. Why not use the cattle prod you were given instead of wasting a taser shot? Hey guys, where are you? Huh, he must be in this Freddy mask. Huh, I don't see anyone. The effects were outstanding, especially since most of them were practical. They actually build animatronics! You can hug them! Yes, my dreams! My dreams can come true even though I'm never gonna get near a multi-million-dollar animatronic suit. Details are nice, and the CGI isn't that bad too. I said isn't that bad, okay, come on guys. It wasn't super predictable, obviously as a FNAF fan it would have been, but honestly at some points, they got me. They tricked me a bit. Like I thought Vanessa and Mike were gonna get together and I was gonna be like, oh, really? They're gonna do this love trope? But no, she just stays in a coma. What a shame. El Bozo. The environments are good, the kills are really gory, and I love a good gory kill. All the horror aspects were really good, especially the running gag with Balloon Boy, but they had a lot of good build-up and a lot of good jump scares, and I think that's really good for a series, especially when all your franchise was jump scares. So I thought that was nice. And though I've defended this movie up to this point, there is still some flaws that I have to agree with that really bring down the movie as a whole. Besides the lack of FNAF 1 gameplay, like I've already stated, it also kind of sucks that there wasn't as much horror. It was pretty lackluster on the horror. Though all the horror that was in it was good, I wish they added more, and I think they could have fixed this by adding a couple minutes where Mike was in the office and the animatronics were to get him. Boom, you got your gameplay. Boom, you got more horror in it. Beautiful mixture. I wish there was more horror, and I'm gonna have to dock some points because it's a horror game. 2 is that some of the scenes were just kind of awkward, mainly between Mike and Vanessa, between that blanket fort thing. It was a little and I also kind of wish that William Afton already had the mask on and didn't just randomly put it on. I don't see the purpose. Why would he do that? So a bunch of minor nitpicks, but there's always going to be a bunch of minor nitpicks, so that's fair. It would have also been nice if they just slowed things down just a tiny bit to stretch it out, but I can understand that. It would have also been nice to get some cameos from some other popular YouTubers like 8-Bit Ryan or Daco. I also do wish the animatronics were a little more in the movie, just had a little more of a role. They did have a pretty big role, but mainly in their child forms. I wish we got to see more of the main cast themselves. But again, these are a bunch of minor nitpicks, except for the horror thing, which is why, let's get to the rankings. So, with everything said and done, there's a lot of great aspects to it, and there's a couple of flaws. If you're a big fan of the FNAF movie, then obviously this is going to be a movie you gotta watch and you're gonna love and enjoy. Don't look at the critics beforehand, they may sway you into a negative opinion. My personal rating on the FNAF movie is gonna be an 8.5 out of 10 schminkum. I was weighing on a 9 at first, but then I realized some more things that really got me thinking, and that's the reason why I've swayed to an 8.5 vote. I think this is pretty fair, especially coming from me. And with everything said and done, thank you for watching. If you have a different opinion, please leave it in the comment section. Remember to be respectful. We're here to have a great time, and I will see you guys on another video, or something like that. I did not plan an outro. Whee!